Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Esports Talk. It's good to see you all again, and we're getting to that time of the year again, boys. The time of the year where all the biggest tournaments in esports take place. We just had COD Champs last month. Supposed to be the CSGO Major in Rio in a couple months, but that's not going to happen. Then we've also got the 6 Major in November, and then in a couple days, we're approaching one of the other biggest ones in the world, and that is League of Legends Worlds. That's coming on Friday, the 25th, and holy crap, it has already been almost a year since last Worlds, and that's kind of crazy because I remember making a video about it a year ago, and wow, time has flown, good lord. But the lead up to Worlds this year has been a wild one. Of course, you've got COVID going around and doing its thing, just screwing everything up. I mean, I guess not everything, considering they are playing in Shanghai on LAN at least, so you don't have to worry about unreliable internet connections and just the problems that come with playing online. However, in terms of the broadcast, they're planning on producing it from several different parts around the world, so LA, Berlin, Seoul, and Shanghai, with each different region and each different team from each region handling something different a part of the broadcast. So that might be a concern to some, and it is for me slightly, just considering the broadcast and the production is always usually better when it's performed in-house and produced in-house. So it could be a little issue in terms of, things kind of going slowly, sort of ruining the pacing of things, awkward pauses, or just technical difficulties because they're all separated. So it might not be the perfect viewing experience we're hoping for. However, they're doing their best. And of course, we've seen it several different times in several different games, Siege especially, it comes to mind immediately, of how, production when they're not in-house can be kind of messy at times. It can be very awkward to watch. And speaking of the broadcast itself, we learned a few days ago that LPL English casters will not be casting at Worlds this year. So that means we won't get to see Hysterics, Munchables, Penguin, and them. And Riot didn't exactly tell us why. However, it's likely just due to COVID or travel restrictions, or maybe just a limited number of casters you can actually have there, because you have the LCS and LEC casters already, which are generally more well-known English-speaking casters. So if you're going to run with English-speaking casters, you're probably going to take the more well-known ones. But that's only the start of people not coming to Worlds this year. And one reason why this year is so crazy compared to other years is because we're missing a lot of those staple teams that are usually in these events. Of course, one of those being T1, who lost to Gen G in the regional finals, so they didn't get to qualify for Worlds. But the only other time that T1 did not qualify for Worlds since the team was created was in 2018, of course, after they had already won Worlds 3 times. So this might come as a shocker to T1 or Faker fans. It came as a shocker to me especially, but wow, that's not the only upset that we've seen this year. Because there's also FPX who didn't qualify for Worlds this year after losing to IG in the regional finals, after honestly FPX didn't look super solid this year, which was kind of surprising just coming from last year where they of course won Worlds. I was expecting a bit more. And even with FPX losing to IG did not qualify for Worlds this year either after winning Worlds in 2018, which was like, isn't it just crazy how it works that way? Like the previous victors from previous Worlds aren't even qualified for Worlds this year. That is 3 LCK and LPL Titans that have been taken down, and that's not even all of it. Because then you've got Cloud9, who basically just owned the spring split. They were dominating North America at that time. Then comes summer, they were still doing well, and then comes the playoffs, and something just went horribly wrong, and they got knocked down to 4th place and did not qualify because of that, because they lost to FlyQuest, which knocked them down to the losers bracket, and then they lost to TSM, which got them eliminated. And of course, those are 2 teams that are going to Worlds this year, as well as Team Liquid going for the playoffs. But it was just insane to see Cloud9 not coming through and pulling through and going to Worlds this year. Honestly, it is a little heartbreaking after seeing how they were doing in spring. And same with Team Liquid, because they're only in the play-ins as a result of getting 3rd place in the summer playoffs after also looking really good throughout summer. They started looking so much stronger near the end of the year there. So me personally, I will say that I am hoping that Team Liquid does well in the play-ins, because I want to see an NA team win Worlds. It has been far too long that we've gone without a trophy. I want to make it happen. I'm a bit of an NA fanboy. I apologize in advance. However, with teams like T1, Cloud9, and potentially Liquid not making it through the play-ins, and I should also mention that Vietnamese teams are not even coming this year. That's Team Flash and GAM Esports. Actually, as a side note, I should say, they're actually getting their full prize pool payment as if they did compete. So good for them. I'm kind of glad that Riot's doing that, because they kind of got pooped on by COVID. They did not, they're not able to come because of it, and Riot is kind of just making up for it with that. But I was going to say, my main point here was that I'm kind of concerned in terms of viewership with a lot of these big teams and these big name teams missing. Of course, I'm sure it's going to be good either way. Like, there's no doubt that it's going to be good. However, last year where we had record-breaking viewership with 44 million concurrent viewers, we are still probably going to have great viewership. However, we might just not be breaking any records this year, because there's also PSG Talon, which is a PCS team that is unfortunately running into similar issues in terms of COVID travel restrictions and visa requirements and things of that nature. So they're going to be missing 2 players from their main starting lineup, and that's Tank and River, who happens to be their mid laner and their jungler respectively. And that kind of sucks, because those are roles where you really want to have players that are very well coordinated, and you've got a lot of teamwork going on. It requires a lot of planning beforehand, because now they're going to be having to have subs instead with Uniboy and Kongyu from AHQ Esports, so they don't have exactly that quite same coordination that they would have had that they were practicing beforehand. So it kind of really sucks losing those players, and you could say that about a lot of roles, that you kind of need those roles and you need those essential roles and those players specifically on those roles. However, I feel like jungling specifically is kind of something where you really need a lot of coordination with them, and you really need, you need to be on like that kind of same brain wave, that same wavelength, if you feel what I'm saying. And since those VCS teams are missing, Riot had to adjust the formatting a bit for this year's Worlds, where there's usually 12 teams in play-ins. However, this year there will only be 10 instead, as of course those 2 VCS teams are missing, and it'll be 2 seeded groups of 5 teams. So of course whoever is in the lowest placed will be eliminated, and then it'll be the 3rd and 4th teams playing against each other in a best of 5. Then those teams will play against the opposite group's 2nd place teams, and then that'll be how it's determined who moves on. So it'll be different, but not insanely different. It'll also be a single round robin as opposed to double round robin, just because Riot said it'll be too hard and too difficult to make it work with this many teams. And this year we've got G2, Machi Esports, and Sunning in Group A. There's Damwon, Rogue, and JD Gaming in Group B. Fnatic, Genji, and TSM in Group C. And DRX, or Dragon X, however you guys want to say it, FlyQuest, and Top Esports in Group D. And of course, depending on who wins the play-ins, there'll be even more teams in these groups. But let me know in the comments your guys' prediction on who you think is going to succeed in groups and who you think is going to be eliminated. But I gotta say, it is just good to see that Worlds was not canceled this year after so many things went wrong for it, of course, with COVID and just everything going else in the world right now. And then you've got Dota, who had the international canceled, of course, leaving Dota fans upset. But of course, here we are, still getting to view Worlds after, honestly, a crazy year. And honestly, we cannot deny at this point just how important Worlds is for esports. It connects people together, it exposes people to things that they may not have known they loved, and it just shows how far esports have come, with prize pools in the millions, viewership in the millions as well, breaking records. It is just crazy to see. It may not be as good as previous years. However, they're going to be doing their best over at Riot. We're in a pandemic right now. They are doing their best with COVID, so it may not be as good as previous years. It may not be. However, just the fact that it's happening in the first place is honestly just enough for me, and I'm thankful for that. But remember, guys, Worlds play-ins are this Friday the 25th, so they are coming up real soon, and I just cannot wait to see what they've got in store for us. How Riot's going to run things, how they're going to do the broadcast, how these teams are going to do, in terms of coming back to LAN finally. So I cannot wait to see what we've got. Also, if you guys have not seen the new Worlds song, Take Over, it has Max and Jeremy McKinnon in it, which is actually the vocalist for A Day to Remember. Go check it out and let me know what you guys think about it. Personally, I would say I prefer Rise, Legends Never Die, and Warriors. I think those are probably my top 3 favorite World songs, but of course, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it more than previous years? Whatever, all that good stuff. And also, yeah, let me know if you guys have any concerns for Worlds this year, things you're excited to see, and of course, just how you think Worlds is going to turn out this year. I would love to see what you guys got to say. It's going to be an intense time, guys. So, of course, until next time, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't think I've done this for you guys yet. I'm going to say bye-bye in my little baby voice. Bye-bye. 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 Oh, God. Bye-bye anyway. Bye-bye.